Alrighty, let's go. We are back with another episode of the Redzone Report, the Week 2 edition of the Redzone Report. How to our very first edition of the Redzone Report come out last week for you. Absolutely had a ball, had a blast doing it. I will say, bit of transparency. The best bets did not go well. I went 1-5. Full transparency. It's week 1. I felt like I got some brutal unlucky losses as well. Eagles, they had 24 points at halftime. Couldn't cash their team total. The Texans, they fumbled or had an interception in the red zone when they were just about to either go take the lead on the last drive of the game. Ravens, the Raven. How did they lose? I have no idea how the Ravens lost that. Seattle had a fumble 10 yards out to go and take the lead as well against San Fran. Just so much stuff. It's complete week 1 stuff has happened, and I was on the wrong end of it. It's okay. And you know what? Plenty of games left. There is plenty of games left to go. Still got 14 to 16 games a week. Still got 16 weeks to go. We have got plenty of opportunity to get this back. So I'll be covering 5 games for you this week that I really, really love and have a really good insight into. Giving you my rapid rundown to go along with that as well. Props. We are back with props. Got 8 props for you today as well. And I'll give you a little bit of a Supercoach update from week 1, how I went, what did it expected the way I went, who am I looking to potentially trade, who am I looking at trading anyone, who should you be targeting for week 2 this week in so used to saying NFL Supercoach. Give you my survivor pick as well. We are still alive. Thank you, Denver. They absolutely tried their hardest to botch it as well. Did not look good at halftime. And to finish it off, give you my multi for the week and my 2+ TD 3-leg Hail Mary for you. I think I've got a banger set up for you this week. But we'll kick off the episode. Don't have an opinion on the massive primetime game on Thursday night or Friday morning for us. We're going to skip straight to Redzone Monday morning for us, 3 a.m. And I just spoke about the Ravens and how they lost to the Bills. I'm targeting the Bills game again. I'm going against the Bills again. Buffalo Bills heading to the New York Jets and their division rival in the AFC East. The Bills currently a -7-point favorite, a total of 46. This line opened -8.5 during the week at a total of 44.5 as well. So we're seeing a little bit of Jets money and we're seeing a little bit of under money as well. And I know I said I was going to look at this Buffalo game and go against them. I don't even have a word for this game. I just have 4 letters for you. 4 letters. Jets, Jets. Give me the Jets, baby. Give me the +7. Why? The Buffalo Bills, they were off a huge win on Sunday Night Football in primetime as well, winning 41-40 against the Ravens. Look, they scored 41 points. Amazing. Took a freak fourth quarter comeback by Josh Allen. But now they've also conceded 40. Yeah, it was to one of the juggernaut offenses, but the Jets, they've just put on 32 against what is supposed to be one of the top 5 defenses this year in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields looked like bloody Michael Vick out there, just absolutely torching that Pittsburgh defense. He looked unreal out there. Can he back it up? That is the big thing for sure. I think he can. I think they're going to be able to score in this defense. I think they're going to be able to run as well. We saw Henry run for nearly 200 yards in that game as well. Breece Hall, he had an awesome game last week as well. Looked like a bit of his 2023 self, which was good to see. One of the funny things as well, if you look at Breece Hall's pitch map essentially in his run routes that he had, were all to the left side. Because TJ Watt was on the other side there. So he was lining up on, the left side for Pittsburgh, so the right side. They were all running the other side. He's going to have both ways to go now. He's going to be able to receive the ball as well. Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, that Ohio State duo is back together. They're linking up really well. I think this Jets defense can be quite good as well. Yes, they conceded 34 last week, but should be a little bit better as well. Second home game for the year. I like their team total as well, 19.5. It's really not that. That's pretty low for a defense that just conceded 40 points last week. Give me the Jets plus the 7 or the team total 19.5. I'll let you guys decide. I love the Jets this week against the Buffalo. Give me the Jets. Jets, 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 Jets. Jets plus 7 to kick off your Monday morning here. Second game, sticking in the first late here. Chicago Bears off a brutal primetime loss to the Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 5.5 point favorite, a total of 47. The line is open 4.5 late last week. Total of 48.5. So we're seeing a tiny bit of Lions money and we're seeing a bit of bit of under money as well, which is a bit interesting to see. I don't really have a massive opinion on the total, but I will tell you, the Detroit Lions got absolutely embarrassed last week against the Green Bay Packers, against their division rival. First game of the season, they got absolutely waxed. They were never in it from the first drive. As soon as Green Bay scored that first touchdown, it was 7-0, but they looked never, ever in it. They really struggled on offense, just could not get anything going all day. Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 10 receptions for about 30 yards for a running back. Like the most receptions ever for the least amount of yards. Is absolutely insane. The only shining light they had was Tesla at the end with a freak catch to get a TD. The only touchdown of the game. And we're talking about an offense that was putting up points of fun last year. And they've just got rid of their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Where is he now? He is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. We've got old offense coordinator against current head coach of the Detroit Lions. I think Dan Campbell, he's going to have a bit of trick up his sleeve. He's going to know the Ben Johnson's weaknesses with his offense. And then I think they're going to be fine. I think it's a massive, massive bounce back spot. I think the Chicago Bears will feel super dejected after that loss in week 1. They had no right to lose that game. They were dominating for 3/4 of the game, and up steps JJ McCarthy, 3 touchdowns in the last quarter to absolutely torch their defense. What I will say about the Chicago Bears is they did have a few defensive players missing. They lost one in the game as well. Check the injury report, see how it is. They may have some defensive guys back, but I think the weapons that the Lions have on attack, on offense, will be enough to cover the -5.5. I think they will demolish Chicago this week. I just don't see where Caleb Williams is going to be able to put up enough points to compete. And don't get me wrong, he had Ben Johnson's offense. It's going to look good in the future, but Caleb, he missed so many open receivers against Minnesota. He really could have easily won that game for them. So big bounce back spot for Detroit this weekend. I love them laying the points, less than a touchdown. Just win by 6. Just win by 6. It seems like a lot in the NFL. Just one possession. First home game, indoor stadium. We know Detroit does not perform well outdoors. Back indoor, back at the home stadium. Division rival. I think they'll absolutely smoke Chicago on Monday morning. Give me Detroit -5.5 to bounce back on this game in week 2. Third game for my week at the 5 in my breakdown here. Still sticking in the morning slate. Bit of an interesting one this game. I don't think this game will get too much attention, but it's the San Francisco 49ers heading to New Orleans Saints. San Francisco opened -7, total of 44.5. We've had a bit of a news with quarterback injuries to Brock Purdy. George Kittle's going to be out. Now down to San Fran, -4.5, total of 42.5. So we're seeing Saints come down from the +7 down to the +4.5, total 44.5 down to 42.5. Looks like Mac Jones will be lining up at quarterback for San Francisco this weekend. And I mean, it feels like a repetitive story every single week and every single year with the 49ers. They just cannot stay healthy. George Kittle, he's on IR. He's out 4 weeks. Looks like Purdy, he's got a bung left shoulder. He's also got a bung toe as well. Sounds like the toe is hurting more than the shoulder. That's a bigger concern. Does not sound like he will be playing for the Saints, given where this line is at the moment. And I'm going to stick with it. Give me the Saints, the +4.5. I thought they showed a lot of courage last week. I thought the defense was awesome as well against Arizona. Kept them to a couple touchdowns. They managed to sack Kyler Murray 5 times. Their big downfall was they had 13 penalties for 89 yards last week. I do think they can clean that up a little bit. I think they can definitely keep in touch. Mac Jones laying 4.5 points. I get he's in a different system to New England, but Mac Jones laying 4.5 points on the road just seems absurd. No Kittle. You've got no Jennings as well. You've just got Pearsall and you've just got CMC in that attack. Trent Williams got dominated on that left tackle side against Seattle as well. I love the Saints to put pressure on Mac Jones. As soon as he gets put pressure on, he's a disaster. I love the Saints this week. I don't know if they'll win. It could be one of those games where it keeps really tight. Why can't they win? Why can't they win? Put a little sprinkle in it, but give me the points. The Saints plus 4.5 for your third bet of the week. Next game. My boys, my Carolina Panthers are heading to Arizona in the second slate here, in the 6:05 slot in the morning here. Arizona opened a minus 4.5 point favorite last week, total of 44.5. We're now at Arizona minus 6.5. The total has remained at 44.5 as well. And you might be thinking, here he goes, it's week 2, and he bet against the Panthers last week. He won't do it again. He won't do it again. Really? I'm sorry, I know there's like 8 games going at once last week while the Panthers played, but did anyone see any highlights or any sort of footage from that Panthers game on the weekend? Disgusting. Grows one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst. They're going to be battling for the worst record in the league, probably with the Saints and probably with the Browns as well. They were awful. Bryce Young was awful. The defense was shocking. The only shining light was Teteroa McMillan. He was able to find some space, but anything else was just shocking. We had Ike Ekwonu, the left tackle, he was a huge out for us just before this game. If he's back, maybe they see something a little bit better. I just don't see how Carolina is going to be able to stop this Arizona offense. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will have a field day. I think James Conner is going to be able to run his absolute balls off. The Panthers are conceding 200 rush yards a game easily, and that goes back to like the last 6 games last year as well. Just one of the worst running defenses you've ever seen. I think Arizona, I think they can put at least 30 on this Panthers team. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, I believe they scored 26. 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. So on 6 occasions, they were able to get pretty much into the red zone. If a team like Arizona is able to capitalize a little bit more on that opportunity with Kyler Murray, a running quarterback there, how in the hell are the Panthers meant to stop this juggernaut offense? On top of that, I think Arizona is going to have a top 10 defense this year. How is Bryce Young going to get any receivers open? How is he going to be able to compete against this defense? The only thing is going to be McMillan. He has to have a huge game, or Chuba Hubbard as well. I'm just not seeing it. It's a big number. You're laying over it, like you're laying pretty much a full touchdown. The minus 6.5. Just take the minus 6.5. It's going to seem light when Arizona wins this game by over 2 touchdowns. Give me a going against my boys again. Give me the Arizona Cardinals minus 6.5 against my Carolina Panthers in week 2. Panthers will be starting 0-2 to start the season, heading to back for our first home game next week against Atlanta, which is going to be interesting. They're a pick 'em at the moment, which is wild to think about. And last game I will be talking about insight is going to Tuesday here in Australia. It's the last game of the week. LA Chargers heading to Vegas. Vegas, baby. Vegas. Chargers opened -3. Total of 44.5 for this one. It is currently Chargers -3.5. A total of 46.5. So we have seen a bit of over money and a tiny bit of Chargers money as well. This is quite strange to me. Chargers, don't get me wrong, they had a great win on Saturday morning here against the Chiefs, against Pat Mahomes. Herbert looked awesome. Herbert looked unreal out there. He threw for over 300 yards. Receivers were open everywhere. He really took control of that game. He grabbed it by the balls, which is good to see. But everyone's ignoring how good this win was by the Vegas Raiders in New England in week 1 with a new quarterback and a new coach as well. Super impressive. They won 24-10 in that one. Geno threw for over 350 yards. There were receivers open everywhere as well. I believe they had 9 receptions, over 20 yards in that game for the receivers. They will be able to do probably something similar in this game, I think. Maybe not as potent. But since when are the Chargers a 3.5 points better than this Vegas team? In Vegas as well. This is indicating that the books think the Chargers are around 4.5 points better than the Raiders. What? Like, where did this come from preseason? Don't think that's the case. Probably tell where I'm getting from. I love the Vegas Raiders this week in prime time at their first home game for the year as well. Division rival as well in the AFC West. I like the 3.5, but I like the over as well. Correlate the both of them together. Raiders, team total over 20.5. Give me just 3 touchdowns. Just score 3 touchdowns. That's all you have to do. Brock Bowers, he should be playing. He did come off late in that game against the Patriots. A little bit of a hobble. Does sound like they were just sort of taking caution. He should be playing. Can Herbert back that up that he did against the Chiefs? He had no interceptions. He was absolutely slinging it. Bit of a different defense now, playing another division rival. We'll see if they can back it up. I'm not really backing them in. I really like the Raiders plus the points, or even just go over their team total. I think they're going to be able to score some points. The Chiefs were able to score 21 points, and their offense is not looking that great. You got better weapons on this Raiders team. You got Pete Carroll there. You've got Geno there. You've got Ashton Jonty there. You've got Brock Bowers there. You've got Jacoby Myers. I do think the Raiders will be able to put some points on this Chargers team. Raiders team total over 20.5 to round out your 5 games that I have really, really liked this week. And by all means, if I add some more, feel free to go check out my action profile as well at Skooshi Sports. Post all my bets there. You can see how much I lose. But I should be posting a bit more there during the week as well if I do like some games as well. But that is my 5 games for the week that I absolutely love. Now, rapid rundown. For the other 11 games of the week, I'm going to try and cover this in about 2 or 3 minutes to absolutely speed through. These are games I really don't either have an opinion on or may have a lean on, just not quite enough to get to the window for me. We'll start. All right, let's go. Rapid rundown. Bang. Commies at Packers. Packers minus 3.5. Total of 48. I lean Washington and the under as well. I do like Washington in this game. Just not quite there for it for me. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens 11.5 point favorite. Total of 45. I think the Ravens absolutely belt the shit out of Cleveland this weekend. Cleveland, they put up a fight last week. I think Ravens, they're going to absolutely flat track bully the Cleveland Browns. I do like the Ravens to cover that big number. Jags at the Bengals. I lean the Bengals. Bengals are a minus 3.5 point favorite. The total is 48.5. I do like Cincy to start the season 2-0. They started shaky a little bit last week. Still got the win. Jamar Chase had his worst game pretty much since his rookie year. I think he will go bananas against this Jacksonville defense. Give me Cincy. Give me Joe Burrow to cover up that 3.5 and potentially the over as well. Not enough for me to get to the window, but I do like Cincy this week. LA Rams at Tennessee Titans. I lean the Rams. Rams are a minus 5.5 point favorite. Total of 42. The under is taking some huge steam. Both quarterbacks, not so sure about on offense. Rams didn't put up many points last week. Neither did the Titans. Big thing is Brian Callahan against Sean McVay. That's a big coaching mishap there. Give me Sean McVay there with the minus 5.5 on the road there. Patriots at the Dolphins. Oh my goodness. Basically about a pick, and Patriots about a plus 1.5 point dog at the moment. The total is sitting around that 44.5 mark again. Call it square. How can you look at last week and back Miami off that performance? I lean the Patriots in this game. First win for Mike Vrabel under the Patriots head coach. Giants at Dallas. Dallas are about minus 6 point favorite at the moment. Total of about, I think it's about 46 at the moment there as well. I lean the over in that game. Don't really have an opinion on the side. There were rumors Jackson Dart would be starting. If Jackson Dart was starting, I'd love the plus points with the Giants here. I just can't trust Russ at the moment. I just can't trust Russell Wilson. And saying that, I do lean the over. So he has to score some points, or does Dallas put up a massive score and absolutely trample them? Not so sure. Seahawks at the Steelers. Seahawks heading east off that loss against the Niners. I do lean Seattle in this game. Seattle plus 3-point dog in this one. There's a total of 40. It's the lowest total of the week. Going by the Steelers game last week, this game should be soaring over. But the Seattle defense will be a lot better than this Jets defense. I actually really like Seattle in this game with Mike McDonald to go over east in Pittsburgh, their first home game of the season, and actually potentially win that game as well. Start 1-1 for the season. I don't think they'll start 0-2. I do lean Seattle in that game. 4 games to go in the rapid rundown. Denver Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts. Denver is a minus 2-point favorite. Total is about 43.5 at the top of my head at the moment. I do like, this is a bit of pros versus Joes game. The pros are on the Colts. The Joes are on the Broncos. Usually I'd be on the Colts in this sort of game. Square, don't care. Give me Denver, minus the 2. Are we really going to back Daniel Jones again and expect him to back up the performance again against a top 5 defense? One of the best defenses last year in the whole league? Bo Nix was absolutely terrible last week. Had like 4 turnovers. They were shocking. They still won the game. He's going to have a massive bounce back game this week. I'm expecting Denver to definitely win this game against Indy. I'm not getting the hype with Indy. Happy for Daniel Jones to prove me wrong and back up that performance, but it was against a very, very bad Miami Dolphins team. Awesome. This is the biggest game of the week, the Super Bowl rematch. I was going to do a preview on this, but I just didn't quite have a strong enough lean for this one. I did honestly lean the Chiefs at the start. Eagles at KC. Eagles are 1-point favorite at the moment. Total is 47. So it's heading down this total as well. Oh, sorry, it's heading up from 45.5. Excuse me. I did lean the Chiefs early in the week. Bit of Super Bowl revenge, but now Worthy's going to be out. They just didn't look that great against the Chargers. The defense didn't even look that good. Philly, they're going to have Jalen Carter back. They've got all their weapons back. There's a potential that Philly could absolutely trample the Chiefs in this game. I get it. It's a Super Bowl revenge game. Chiefs would have had this circled for the whole preseason, the whole offseason, week 2 game. But on paper, Philly is way better. Philly, there's potential they could absolutely trample the Chiefs in Arrowhead on Monday morning. 2 games to go. We've got 2 games on the Tuesday here in Australia. The first game being Atlanta Falcons at the Vikings is Sunday night football game. On the prime time. So that is Monday for us. Falcons are a plus 4.5-point dog at the moment. Total is sitting at about 44.5. I lean the Falcons in this game. You're gonna say that JJ McCarthy off that last quarter performance should be a 4.5-point favorite now all of a sudden. I get it. They're gonna have a good defense, but Penix, I believe in Penix. Give me the plus 4.5 there. It's definitely a strong lean for the Falcons there. And the last game in my rapid rundown, heading over to Tuesday, the second last game of the week. The Buccaneers are heading to Houston, playing the Texans. Texans are now about minus 2.5-point favorite. Total is sitting about 43.5, 44 as well. This is one of the games I literally do not have a single lean on. I don't have an opinion on the total. I don't have an opinion on the side. Texans just didn't look that great last week with their offensive line. They've now lost a center as well, so it's not going to be better. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. The defense was awesome, though, against the Rams. Buccaneers had a bit of a scratchy win against Atlanta. Did they deserve to win? Not so sure. I'm not so sure. So it's a really interesting game. I'm really intrigued to see how this game plays out. Happy to just sit on my hands and watch this game. Going to be probably close to one of the games of the week, in my opinion. I am a big fan of the Texans this year, as you guys know. But them, minus 2.5 at the moment, without their center, that O-line. If Vita Vea is back for the Buccaneers, it probably could be a low-scoring game, if I'm all honest. But don't really have a strong lean at all on that game to cap off the rapid rundown. Alrighty, next segment, we're going to go into what my favorite segment, always going to be my favorite segment, and it's player props. Absolutely love the markets that come available for the player props at this time of year. So many options to choose from. It's just, Skooshi loves it. Skooshi just absolutely loves it. So, as I said, I've got 8 for you this week. I've got over across 7 games it is. So I'll have 2 in 1 game for you. And I'll actually start with the primetime game. So I don't have a bet on the side or a total for this primetime game on Thursday night. I do like, going back to the well, Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. Paying a tiny bit of juice for this one. He got 7 receptions last week. He was the clear go-to guy for Jaden Daniels, while Terry McLaurin hadn't done that much in training camp or the offseason. He's just signed his big extension deal. I still think they're probably going to be working a little bit to get, stick together a bit. I still like Deebo to connect with Jaden Daniels 5 or more times in this game. There is a potential that, going by, because Green Bay are favorites, that Washington could be chasing in this game. So what's going to happen? It's going to mean they're going to pass it a bit more. I do really like Deebo to get open, and I said, just be that slot receiver guy, just be that short guy for Jaden Daniels to get the pass off. Give me Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. In prop 2 and 3, these ones are in the same game. They both belong to my Jets, my New York Jets, Jets, Jets. We're going with their offense. We're back in the overs. Garrett Wilson absolutely smashed this line last week. His line this week is 59.5 for their first wide receiver. He got about over 90 yards last week. These two used to play college ball together. They absolutely dominated as well. Now they're back together in New York, and you're giving me 59.5 against that Buffalo defense. You're joking. Garrett Wilson over 59.5 receiving yards. And you all saw Derrick Henry run for nearly 200 yards in that game as well, right? I'm not saying Breece Hall is Derrick Henry whatsoever, but Breece Hall, he ran for 100 yards last week against that Steelers defense and running to one side of their defense as well. Now he's going to have left and right and the middle to go down, just like Derrick Henry did. Breece Hall over 54.5 rush yards. I think he could soar over that. I think he could go super duper high in that game. Next one. Oh boy. I think this is the biggest bounce back opportunity of the week. I'll get to it later regarding Supercoach. I cannot believe this play is a trade out this week in Supercoach. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had one of his quietest games in his whole career last week against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns actually have a solid defense. They've got good corners there. Now you're going up against Jacksonville, where even the Panthers, even McMillan was able to have 5 or 6 catches for 70 yards. And Bryce Young was awful, and McMillan was still able to do that. Now give me the Triple Crown winner from last year, arguably the best wide receiver in the whole league, against that Jacksonville defense. First game at home. Are you kidding? 86.5 receiving yards. In my opinion, if this game was in week 8, this number would start with a 1. And no, I don't mean 1 and 2 numbers. 1, 0, 0. This should be starting with, if this was a few weeks later, Jamar Chase, over 86.5 receiving yards. Patriots at the Dolphins. I didn't like too much in this game. I said I'd lead the Patriots. This is a really weird, strange line in my opinion. Stephon Diggs, he cleared his player prop line last week. He's opened at it was 46.5 last week. He got over 50 yards. Now he's at 40.5 receiving yards. Why? What? Keyshawn Boot went for 100 plus yards last week, and that means he's not going to get the ball? And now you're facing this awful Miami defense? You saw Michael Pittman Jr. absolutely stroll down the field. Daniel Jones shredded the Miami defense. I think Drake May, he's going to have a big bounce back game. Whether he passes to Douglas or Boot, I think he's going to keep going to Diggs. Diggs did better than what I expected last week. I probably didn't expect him to clear his prop. First game off an ACL injury in a new offense. He cleared it, and now his prop is lower. Go figure. Stephon Diggs, over 40.5 receiving yards for the New England Patriots. Excuse me, my mistake as well. I actually do have 2 props for this game. So I still have 8 props, but across 6 games. This is a absolute rarity for me in here. Betting an under in a prop. Usually when I bet an under, I have to be pretty bloody confident. And this guy, he's going to get traded in the midseason. He's already blowing up on the sidelines. And yes, that is Tyreek Hill. His prop line is set at 60.5. He did nothing last week. What indication do you have that he'll bounce back this week? He's over it in Miami. He doesn't get along with Mike McDaniel well at all. He's going to get traded in the midseason, if not the midseason, in the offseason. Well, 60.5. Give me that under. They're going to keep going to Waddle. They're going to keep going to A-Chain, why would Mike McDaniel set up an offensive play for Tyreek to get the ball? He's over it. He's done at Miami. Tyreek Hill, under 60.5 receiving yards. 2 more to go, and these are bangers to end the week. I cannot believe the lines in this one. Seattle, what? Heading to Pittsburgh. How? Like, Jackson Smith-Njigba, first wide receiver for Seattle, went over 100 yards last week against San Fran. Absolutely torched their defense. Hardly anyone else in that Seattle offense got any of the ball. There's clearly a connection between JSN and Darnold. Now you're giving me JSN at 61.5 receiving yards for a first wide receiver, and you saw what Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields did last week against that Pittsburgh defense. I like Seattle in this game. I think, same as last week, they're not probably going to try and run the ball too much. They're going to have to pass it because TJ Watt is there. And you're giving me 61.5 for a receiver, the wide receiver one who's going to absolutely dominate. Probably going to be one of the better wide receivers this year in a good offense. Like, what? 61.5. I don't like it. Easy bet. Jackson Smith-Njigba over 61 in receiving yards against Pittsburgh Steelers. And my last prop of the week. Another one, guys. It's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I had this last week as well. We bet is over. It cashed. We're going to bet is over again. Marvin Harrison Jr. This last week, I got 57.5 against a good Saints defense, and he went over. He had one big catch. Kyler Murray comes out after the game and said, yep, all training camp, all preseason, all offseason. Me and MHJ have been working on that combo. We believe we have that connection for the deep ball now. Okay, so this Panthers defense absolutely sucks, and you're giving me 55.5 for a guy that got drafted in the top 10 last year? Top 10 for a wide receiver, and he got and give me 55.5 for a wide receiver one. And I think Arizona absolutely tramples them. I think they absolutely stampede Carolina. I think Harrison Jr. goes over 100 plus in this game. 55.5 is way too low. Marvin Harrison Jr., my last prop of the week, over 55.5 receiving yards. Alrighty, next segment. Going to touch a little bit on NFL Supercoach. So, week 1 has finalized. The rankings are out. I scored 468. So, didn't do too bad. Didn't do amazing. I'm currently sitting top 6K out of the 30K. So, top 20%. You can't complain too much about that start. Where did I go wrong? Like Jamar Chase, he was a bit of a stinker. He had 7 points. I had the Steelers defense as well. They had 4 points. They absolutely stunk it up. I didn't captain Josh Allen. I said during the week, last week in the podcast, Josh Allen is a must-have to start for your Supercoach team. What does he do? He goes and puts on 19 more points than the quarterback, the guy who got the second most points for Supercoach in that week. Start Josh Allen. Whether he's a captain option again this week, because I like the Jets, is another question. But I'm actually captaining Joe Burrow this week. Captaining Joe Burrow against Jacksonville, I think he'll throw a couple touchdown passes. I think particularly to Chase as well. This offense will absolutely cook. In terms of trade-ins or trades, I do similar with NRL Supercoach as well. After I pick my first round team, week 1's happen. It's week 1. Anything can happen. Overreactions, that sort of thing. I always just leave my team. None of the price changes happen until after the third game. So after week 3 is when we'll see our first price change. So no prices will be changing. There's no stress to get in a player unless you absolutely stuffed it up where, yes, you have to trade him out and he's not a good option anymore. But the fact that Jamar Chase is second in the most traded out this week is absolutely insane. I cannot believe it. This is like trading out Nathan Cleary after week 1. Like, you just don't do this sort of thing. Jamar Chase, he's the best wide receiver in the league. He's the most expensive wide receiver in the league, but for a good reason. This is a Triple Crown winner. He had a slow start to the season last year as well. And now you're trading him out. Yeah, he might have a big break even next week. Just lose a little bit of cash. There's always potential. Jamar Chase on his day, or even an average day, can go 100 plus yards, 2 TDs, just like that. He's done it plenty of times before, and he'll continue doing it. Cam Ward is currently the most traded out player at the moment. mainly because JJ McCarthy is coming in. I can understand that trade. Again, the prices do not change. I want to see how Cam Ward goes this week in that offense again. Not a big fan of Brian Callahan, but from what I saw with JJ McCarthy, is every right to be a big fan of that, especially with a Kevin O'Connell coaching team. Probably be looking at a trade for me after week 2. No price, I don't have to pay more anything for McCarthy. It's just a straight swap there at QB, so I can kind of understand that. But I'm not playing Cam Ward this week, so I don't need to rush. I wouldn't play JJ McCarthy this week either, so I don't need to rush. I am not making any trades this week. We only get 26 in the season to use up over 17, 16 weeks with 4 boosts. So I will be boosting next week 100%. I'll reveal my 3 trades next week on the Redzone report. Next segment, we're going to hop over to Survivor. And as I said, my Survivor pick last week was the Denver Broncos against the Titans. I just did not give the rookie quarterback in his first game on the road to go and win. And they almost did. And not because they won it, but because Denver were awful. And I actually think it took probably a Titans bad coaching for Denver to win this one. I don't think they really deserve to win that one at all. We'll take it. We'll move on to the next week. My Survivor pick this week is one of my best bets that I've got as well. I think they absolutely trample the division rival this week. Give me Detroit. Give me the Lions this week. I think first game at home in Detroit, they'll absolutely smash Chicago. Lions under Dan Campbell are 7-0 straight up and against the spread off a loss since he was the head coach since the 2023 season. 7-0 straight up and against the spread off a loss. That's going to be 8-0 after Monday morning. Give me the Lions in Survivor to continue on to week 3. And to cap off the episode, we'll have the multi for the week. So last week's multi didn't go well whatsoever. Paid about 61. It's going to be a long shot as well. This week's multi, I love it. Absolutely love it. Sort of correlating my picks as well. We've got Detroit minus 5.5. We've got Arizona minus 6.5. The Raiders team total alts over 23.5. I think I can score a little bit more than that, 20.5. Breece Hall, 60 plus rushing yards against the Buffalo Bills. Jamar Chase to go over 100 receiving yards in that game. That pays about 46 to 1 in that game. 5 legs, 46 to 1. Take it to the bank. And to cap off the episode, we're going for the long shot. We're going for the Hail Mary. 2+ TD parlay, 3 players to score 2 touchdowns, have a day out, always go for long shots. We've got, nice and simple, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, paying 442 to 1. This is for Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, and Alvin Kamara to all score 2+ touchdowns each. Chuck them in a parlay. They all cost, odds around anywhere from $5.50 to $11 for these players. Chuck them all together, pays 442 to 1. I really like these 3 players this week. Just have these 3 players, just have a day out. We're taking money to the bank. So that is the Red Zone report for week 2. Let's do a recap on what we've got so far. So best bets for the week. We've got the Jets plus the 7 against the Buffalo Bills. We've got Detroit Lions to minus 5.5 against a division rival, the Chicago Bears. We have got the Saints plus 4.5 against an injury-riddled San Francisco with Mac Jones at the quarterback there. Arizona minus 6.5 against my Carolina Panthers to absolutely trample them. And to finish off the week, we had the Raiders, the team total over 20.5 in that one. Player props, we had Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions, Garrett Wilson over 59.5 receiving yards, Breece Hall over 54.5 rushing yards, Jamar Chase over 86.5 receiving yards, Stephon Diggs over 40.5 receiving yards, Tyreek Hill under 60.5 receiving yards, Jackson Smith the Jigbar over 61.5 receiving yards, and Marvin Harrison Jr. over 55.5 receiving yards. They are 8 player props for the week. And the multi, just to cap off the week, as I said, Lions minus 5.5, Cardinals minus 6.5, Raiders team total over 23.5, Breece Hall 60 plus rushing yards, Jamar Chase 100 plus receiving yards, paying 45 to 1, 2+ TD parlay, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara pays 442 to 1. Guys, we're looking for a big bounce back week this week. It's overreaction week, one of the best weeks in the year for NFL tipping or betting, in my opinion. Next week is my most favorite week of the year. It's the teams that start 0-2 against the teams that start 2-0. You got Fat and Sassy against Desperate. My favorite week of the year coming next week. That will do it for week 2 of the Redzone Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's have some bets. Let's have minimal sweats, and let's get the job done. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to the Redzone Report. Catch you next week for another episode. Cheers.